Just wonder, preparation-wise, obviously maybe a bit easier because they just saw this team. So how much do you dig back into that game and sort of game plan through that?
Yeah, no matter if you're a new coach coming in with a team or a returning coach, you always want past experiences used against to prepare your team for the game. And just the fact that they played them just a few days ago, obviously that's a big part of getting prepared for this game. And teams obviously make changes, but you want to make the games that recent biases or recent games as much as possible.
Hey, Kris. Dylan Holloway's had such bad stretch of luck since he's, from the wrist injury on. Just can you give us an update and how long is long term for?
Yeah, no, it's unfortunate, and it sounded like he was starting to build a pretty solid game. Obviously, he had a really strong one in Seattle. I was very impressed with how he was playing in my game, and unfortunately, crashed in the boards, injured, and lower body, and he's week to week. Excuse me, week to week.
Now you have three new players coming up. I imagine this is kind of similar to the American Hockey League. We got guys coming in and out all the time. And how do you kind of incorporate the three new guys and to just meet them today type thing?
Yeah, no, I did just meet them today, and there is a lot of fluctuation with the lineup. In the American League, it's often you are, you might be losing your lower end guys that are going to the East Coast, but a lot of times it's your top guys who are going to the NHL, which you're changing your special teams so much. And here it's just not so much. But yeah, no, Adam will be going in tonight. He will be playing left wing, and Broberg will be as an extra. So obviously having the seven defensemen as we head out on the road trip will be good for us.
And just the last one for me. Your predecessor was a big 11-7 fan. I just wondering how you about that.
Excuse me?
He's a big 11-7 fan. He played 11 forward, 7.
Yeah.
I just your thoughts on that.
Yeah, it's difficult. Having 11-7, 11 forwards, it's nice when you've got some guys that take up a lot of ice time. Draisaitl, McDavid, double shifting those guys. Tampa Bay did that quite a bit. 7 defensemen. I know the defense coaches often don't like it because it takes away the flow of of their game. It's nice having the defensemen playing with their partners and having that stability of that. And when you have 7, it just changes that up. Now, there's benefits on how you split that up with special teams. If you've got guys who are really good at penalty kill, or maybe you've got a group of 6 that you're very solid with, and you need another penalty kill defenseman. I don't know. It all depends on the situation, and more importantly, what your D group look like.
Kris, you're the assistant coach for Dave Hackstall in Philadelphia. Can you look back to that and what it was like?
I've got a lot of respect for Dave. I think he's an outstanding coach. I think he's got a calm demeanor behind the bench, but he's very passionate and very knowledgeable at the game. And I think he connects well with his players. And my time there, I think I learned a lot from him, and a lot of the way I coach is a lot of what I saw from him my 2 years that I got to work with him. So I have a lot of respect for him, and feel nice to beat him tonight. But I do know that I assume his mom will be coming at the game, and I know she will be cheering for me because she is a die-hard Oilers fan. So I know I've got that.
What did you know about Dave before you got the job? I mean,
I didn't know Dave at all. I didn't know Dave at all. I previously met Ron Hextall. I think Ron had introduced or recommended me to Dave, and I had an interview with him, and it worked out well. It worked out really well for me to get that opportunity.
You said you learned something from Dave. What did you learn?
Just the preparation of day-to-day, what it takes to be an NHL coach, of the managing of the staff, the players, the schedule, what type of practices to have, how much players can, what kind of information they need for that meeting, or when's too much and when's too little. So just those nuances of the day-to-day business.
Good. Thank you.
Kris, just wanted to clarify the lineup. You said that so Lavoie and Ernie would be in, and Broberg and Brown are out. Is that correct?
Yes, no, Brown's not quite ready. We hope when we hit up the road that he will be in, but unfortunately tonight, he's not playing.
Yeah, and Skinner will go for you again?
Skinner will be our starter.
All right. What would Kris Knoblauch, the coach, have thought about Kris Knoblauch, the player?
I don't know, not good enough.
Is that why coaching?
Smart, defensive-minded, just slow, doesn't get around the ice very well. I don't know.
So is that kind of why you got into coaching? It just, yeah.
If I could have played longer, I would have. I loved the game. I loved playing, and obviously I could have stayed in Europe and played it for a little bit, but it was start to move on, and yeah, that's how I got into coaching.
When I ask people about you, they say that you try to earn players' respect and not demand it. Why is that important to you, and how do you go about doing that?
I just treat them like people. I treat them like the way I want to be treated. I just feel that you're open, you're honest with them. It's so easy, as I know, parenting or coaching, it's so easy to point out negatives. You want a correction, you point that out, that's a negative. But so easy it's so easy to point out all the positives that they're doing. And I try and go out of my way to encourage them to be doing things the right way, and the best way is that positive reinforcement. So, and then when I do need to correct something and I need to address something, I want them to know that, it is fair. He does recognize the things that I do well, so he's not just picking on me. He must have a valid point. I'll try and work on that. So it sounds like an easy philosophy. It's not that easy, but that's kind of the way I approach it.
Thanks. And just one more. I just wonder sometimes, or a lot of times, when a coach comes in mid-season, it's it's way later in the year. You're looking toward next year. Obviously, that's not the case here. So I wonder how you're trying to approach that, and if there's one or two things you're really trying to key in on to turn this around as quickly as possible.
There's no magical switch. It's nothing that's we need to do this. I don't know. It's just the mindset of just getting better each day. And, we're approached, first couple of days was defensive zone coverage, a little bit of our line rush against. Obviously, we wanted to become better defensively, giving up more or fewer chances. But we want to get better on our face-off assignments. Maybe we're trying to create some scoring chances off the offensive zone face-offs. Always creating chances off the rush. All those things we want to get better. Certainly not happy with anything, and even when we're, if we were fortunate enough to be on a 10-game winning streak, we're always looking to get better at something. So right now I mentioned those things that we're working on. Now we're going to be moving on, maybe some more offensive principles.
Noticed in the locker room this morning, there was a bit of a shift with the players. The D were all sitting together. They'd moved some things around. Is that a coach-driven thing, or is that something that the players have decided to do? Where does that come from?
No, it came from the coaches. Paul and I were talking, and I just think we want stability. We want players communicating, talking, and it's the defensemen want them together, and they're talking about their plays, their situations, and learning. We want X sitting beside Bouch or close by him so they can have conversations because they're on the ice. Same with the forwards. Also for the coaches, when we walk into the room, usually we have a message for the defenseman. We want to look at the defenseman and we talk to them, and then we talk to the forwards. And I just think it's so much easier, and it's pretty much all communication driven.
You started to mess with superstitions. Any pushback from the guys? Players can be funny about that kind of stuff sometimes.
Pardon?
Any pushback from the players? Because that can be a superstition type thing.
Well, I don't think it'd be too hard on a superstition. I see guys who I think would be upset with their play and the team success. So I think, obviously some guys feel comfortable with those in their place, but I think right now we could use a little change.
Dave, your wife and kids have to stay behind. Was it the same way with your wife when you went from Kootenay to Erie?
It was. It was for that first season. I talking to, messaging with Sherry Basson, and I think it came up. Actually, Dave Brown, who was assistant general manager then. I think the day that I came here hired, it was the same day that he reached out to me, and I don't know, just the dates aligned. But I think I got the job November 26th. Moved out there, and yes, they did stay behind for that half a season. And yeah, so it's nothing new, but my wife has always said, if you leave mid-season, join a new team, we're not going to see you anyways, whether it's because of the travel or just the long hours at the rink. That they're, yeah. So anyways, they are still there.
She's still a speech pathologist,
She is.
so she has a
She's
job.
graduate at the U of A, yes.
She can't just pick up and leave then.
I think that's his job that's very flexible, that she could, be able to work here. But yeah, she's working there. She's enjoying it. But most importantly, I think it's because of our children in school.
One more. You got a lot of penalty minutes when you played for the Golden Bears, did you not? Were you a tough guy?
No, I had no penalty minutes. When I think one year I went from almost 200 playing junior, and then the next year or 2 years later in the junior or at the U of A, I went from 6. So about 200 to 6 penalty minutes.
Because you can't fight in college.
No, there was no fighting in college.